All right, welcome in. We are back, of course, with our third and final map here of the series. Nuke, it is. Previously, the Permaban of Sprout, a map that the Prodigies are still looking to get some reps on themselves. So, very much looking forward to this, of course. Sprout, really one-sided showing on Inferno. Maybe not quite what we expected. I think we were expecting them to take it, but in such a fashion, quite surprising. Prodigies, meanwhile, obviously put up a really good showing on Mirage, so we'll see whether they can tap back into that. So far, not so good. Very heavily favored pistol here. Just Patrick, they know where he's at because that one frag that he was able to collect, and he will join his teammates in the grave quite swiftly. Another clean pistol for Sprout.
Yeah, goddamn, that was pretty dicey, generally speaking, from the Prodigies. Only getting the one kill there from Patrick. Nothing really coming forward. On the CT side, not starting strong like that is always pretty damning, generally speaking. Hey man, Sprout, credit. This is a side who were just dominant when it came towards their map pick of Inferno. Of course, continuing that run of form, limiting the Prodigies to 2 rounds in the entire map. It's always going to have a pretty big knock to the mental. Nothing really in terms of investment for the Prodigies here, and you can already see Sprout. So much space over towards ramp. Gamble stack towards A amounts to nothing, and they get a free B bomb site. Nobody showing face as Rolls flies his way towards an empty site. And that'll be that, really. I mean, if you're the Prodigies, you may as well hunt for a couple of kills. There's no point saving USPSs. And of course, it will give opportunities to potentially feed a little bit. Zyphon sticking around. Get worrying for a second. Thankfully, CJ to bail him out. And that'll be that. Another flawless round coming through for Sprout. 2-0. Nice answer. I think we do have a little bit of a tech issue, I think, before we are going to head back in towards the fray. But yeah, very clean opening double here. And I think this is now kind of worrying. This is like what we said about Sprout. Once they get going, they're very, very hard to stop. And this is kind of where we feel like things are right now. From the back of what was a dominant map pick, now heading in towards Nuke, yeah, you get really worried that Sprout's going to run away with this. Because Prodigies, it's very difficult to stop these guys in their tracks.
Yeah, I definitely am curious to know now moving forwards whether Prodigies will be able to tap back in. We've not seen them really take any timeouts, right? Maybe something that they could benefit here. At the same time, I think they are very much looking to learn from Sprout, and you have to be a bit realistic about where your position is at. I believe coachless as well, so maybe not quite as useful as you might expect. But you do have to be realistic about your position in the sense that, right, we've just made it into ECL. The goal for this season, first season in, is survival, is not getting relegated. Team like Sprout, they're on the other end of the spectrum. Their goal is Pro League, and that is actually very achievable. So there is a degree of that, but within the confines of the game itself, we want to see as competitive a match as possible.
Has to be said, the way Sprout are playing right now in the grand scheme of Tier 2, Pro League has to come forward for them. They have done so well to rebuild, especially losing the players that they did lose as well. I think they've done a solid job. They've somehow made this team better because it's prioritized teamwork. And it's working really well. Nade to come through. Nice nade, in fact. Rolls doesn't respect it. Flies into a fight. Shield gets a second before he falls. There's no way they clear the backside player. Bomb going to be tapped. Wonderful in trouble. Down he goes, and Zyphon will follow suit as well. Prodigy's going to find their first round here. And pretty confidently. So that's pretty good for them. Of course, won't be the end of the world. Sprout can rebuy in. Technically, that's a bonus buy, but all things considered, it is a pretty good position to be in for the Prodigies. Just to kickstart their campaign on CT side. Something they basically never did over towards Inferno.
Alrighty then, let's see how this first rifle round pans out. Continuing the trend, looking good. Cons and Shield will indeed both chime in very early on as well. Spook with a mad move. Leaves it down to just Rolls and Zyphon looking to pick up the pace in their attempt at a follow-up round, but not going to happen in the end. Con staying cool. Just Zyphon. He's been fragging out well so far in this game, but this is quite the ask. Maybe if he can take some guns away, though, that would be good.
Oh, there's one. Does have actually time to work with potentially fights here, but now they are starting to kind of hunt him down. I think I'm pretty worried. And I guess the main thing here for the Prodigies as well, just make sure you don't overextend too. Don't give him freebies. Got the right idea. He's holding for that ladder push, and he'll get it. They're still surrounding him over towards T-Spawn, and that is the slightly concerning factor here. Probably a double swing's come around the corner in just a second. Another kill for Zyphon, 180 for more fights. This is actually dicey. This is worrying. He goes to the 1 versus 1 and Gizmy sees it off. But my God, did they make that expensive? Nice effort there from Zyphon. 4 kills to his name.
Timeout being used by Sprout super early on into the game as well, so full respect being shown, and maybe just figuring that the energy they had towards the tail end of Inferno, super aggressive and very confident, right? A bit braggadocious even. I think they are figuring that maybe that's not quite going to work in the early stages of this map. Love the idea of a timeout. There is also some economic factors to talk about. They've actually opted to go for the buy here, which is really interesting, because if they'd ecoed, they'd have a clean buy in the next round, man. You know, loss bonus stacked up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
They'd be hitting about 4,400, maybe 5,000 on a few players, right? So it should be good enough. But they've opted to go for the Force, which is really curious.
Yeah, generally speaking, I don't understand why. Because nothing really justifies this. I mean, yeah, Zyphon did well, but he did well with an AK. Asking him to do the same again with a Galil is such a big ask. A great nade to come through as well. It's a really weird play from Sprout. I honestly, I don't get in any way why you'd force it. There's no justification ever to force. You're never going to win these sort of rounds. Maybe a bomb plant is a possibility, but they don't even get close to the site. Flawless for Prodigies and probably the easiest round they've had all series. On one of the weirdest buys for Sprout.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. This doesn't make any sense. I know Zyphon's just walked away with 4 kills, but the only thing I can think of is, so Zyphon's walked away with 4 kills. They're under the idea that maybe the Prodigy's buy is bad, so that they can potentially punish them, but they're wrong. There's there's M4s and Orgs on the other side that comfortably mow them down. Yeah, very weird buy by Sprout's completely relinquished control of the early part of this game over towards the Prodigies. And the Prodigies they're laughing right now.
Few Deagle spams coming through from Sprouts. But the Prodigies, I think, really understanding the position they were in, also probably a bit confused by the decision to go in for the buy. So they are opting to not throw away this opportunity to expand their lead. Very safe and far back play. Wow, that shadow is crazy, man.
Yeah,
that's mental. That is so mental. Cons in for the double. Falling on some support as well. And that'll be the round. But yeah, I don't know. Feels quite far away and he's elevated and everything, you know. That is indeed how shadows work, I guess, but that's crazy.
Yeah, it's something that is definitely going to be new heading in towards CS2. Just those sort of angles, that sort of information you can gain. That peek and go is a very common one, and one actually that now is so problematic to the point where there's just no point going for it, right? You can't go for that sort of peek anymore because, like you said, it's a lost battle from the get-go. CJot was a known quantity for about 5 seconds before he even peaked there. 4-2. Prodigies from not taking the pistol or the second round. Turn things on its head. Questionable decisions from Sprouts have led them to this point, but CJot will find first blood.
Oh, Patrick. Nice trade up. Gives me in a decent position here. If he plays his cards right, he could creep round that corner for a frag. Or Ral's not going to check it. So wasn't really in Gizmy's hands the way that one went. Man advantage comes through. The A-bomb site, a little vulnerable, actually. Especially with Sprout's move. They continue to contact. They may well get a lot more control than I think they would have expected, but that window is slowly closing. They will get their utility out, give their presence away, and now 3 players in from Heaven. That's a lot to deal with, man.
This is a big ask. CJO's low on HP. The Molly will find one at the very least, and they get a bomb plant here. Not bad. Still, theoretically, remains doable. It's just the problem that CJ is so low. So all of this reliance comes down to Wonderful. Essentially, have to isolate 2 different fights there. Really difficult to play with. CJ can't really afford to face. Molly comes in, but it's actually extinguished by the smoke at the tail end. Wonderful for 1. Giving this an opportunity, a shield will fall. Looks for more. Will find it. Wonderful can't make it a 3rd. And krii sees it off. Close, but no cigar. Prodigies find their 5th, and their 5th in a row.
Solid. Really, really solid. I think we are in for a decent game here then. It looked like maybe things had fallen apart on that second map. They definitely did within the map itself, but it really looked like a larger problem, but they've done well at the turn of the half just to keep their heads in the game, right? There is a no-pressure element to a game like this where you come in as the underdogs. And Nuke looking a lot better. Maybe some of this space definitely handed by Sprout's economic decisions, but it was a nice retake.
It was. It really was. So again, Sprout, these T sides are being slightly janky. Like we said, this is a map in which I've been seeing them playing a little bit in the open quals. Wonderful going to find the first. Oh, can't quite rotate over in time. So Shield having to relinquish a lot of this control. Actually, outside's not exactly under lock and key either. CJ's actually managed to flank all the way around it. He could catch 2. There's one front main. There's one in towards credit. Turn left. Gun barrel spotted. Free kill. Console 4. Shield vulnerable too. This now starts to look a little bit worrying for the Prodigies.
Yeah. And still with a player down below as well, I would maybe argue just bring him back up. I like Shield's move, getting aggressive, wins out the fight. Zyphon has to be very careful with the bomb and the low HP. But obviously in a situation like this, any kill is going to be valuable for the CT side. CJ calls upon a bit of support. Him and Ral's maybe looking to move in together, or problematic. Gizmy watching Heaven, finds his kill. Smoke towards Mini, that makes the decision to go towards B, and now the fact that they have kept a player down here for so long is going to become incredibly valuable. He goes down immediately though. Oh man, right place, right time. Just can't hit his shots, and that is, of course, what it all comes down to. Bomb plant going to come through, and this retake doesn't feel as good.
Yeah, do you know what though? It is doable. I don't think they'll know how much damage they've really done. Rolls and Zyphon, 1 bullet to the chest and they're down. And of course, then it's the youngster of CJ. That retake was doable. I think the only real problem is you don't want to be retaking an AWP. If it's 2 rifles there, I'm assuming they'd probably give it a go. Especially considering they do have money left over. It's just the fact that you don't want to risk it when it's shielding the AWP. So they'll park up over towards that T-spawn, and that will be that. Sprout going to find their 3rd. Also fall, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. Front of the round is all that matters. Keeping the confidence now on the side too is what we're looking towards. I mean, this is, like we said, for Sprout, it's actually map number 1. They had these kind of periods of success, but it was never consistent. Map number 2 was just a masterclass of a showing, but you can still feel for Sprout that this game is not, at the moment, not exactly looking the same as it was towards Inferno, where it looked clean and comfortable. Second time out, going to be used. Understandable as well. Just want to make sure that they don't allow the Prodigies back in any way. Of course, they will be expecting off the back of the save a full buy, which they'd be right to assume. Full rifles alongside the AWP. Something which you haven't seen the AWP too much over towards that T side for a while. I guess wonderful. Very proficient with the rifle in his own regard, but limiting shield is a big thing. He's been playing well so far. 9 and 5 he finds himself on.
Yeah, decent. For sure. Hopefully set to continue, right? I think it is very commendable to be in a position of top fragging nature when, you know, you've got Wonderful on the server as well. The fact that you're able to match up, maybe not in the direct AWP v AWP battle. We've not seen too many of those actually in CS2. I think a lot of the AWPs are playing very turret styles, just chilling on bomb sites rather than going for aggressive plays at this point. But still, numbers-wise, Shield has looked pretty good on map 3. I think map 2, he did struggle quite a lot on that A-bomb site. Cons, good spot. Easy frag.
Flash comes over, looking for a fight. krii can be caught by a flash of his own, and he is out of there. Understandably why. Things now 4v4. You can't really afford to overextend now. They're actually caught in between two mines. Nowhere safe for them to go now that there is the possibility of the flank.
Yeah, they're a little out of ideas, aren't they, really? But at the same time, you've also made your bed. I think there's only one way that they can go, and it is forwards. They know that krii is likely to be down here. The question is where. They'll make their presence known. Should be some rotations on the way. Wide swing is nearly successful. Decent damage from krii, man. Get that bomb plant in, but it's going to be difficult. Gizmy might just sacrifice it through the door. He does indeed. Maybe a little too giddy. No one around to really trade him, but Cons is here, and they're not expecting him right. That flank that you talked about comes in to finish the round off. Prodigies bouncing right back. This is pretty great to see.
Nice on retake as well. Actually, you know, bar Gizmy flying through the door. They actually played that quite well. Like we said, the flank coming in. Cons has played a bit of a masterclass there and picked up the AWP, which can drop over towards shield. So, all things considered, not a bad little position to be in. Wonderful can go into an AWP himself, and he will, I was going to say. But it is with the risk of his half armor, and that is obviously not exactly a dream against a CT side. It gives those M4s the ability to one-bullet headshot. But I think at this point, Prodigy's already up to 6. 3 rounds left in the half. I think Sprout have got to start taking a couple of risks. They've got to start trying to get their individuals really activated. Spook's being quiet in towards Nuke. Wonderful and Zyphon, of course, expected, but have been farming so far. Run boost doesn't quite work out there. Resmoking towards single door. Gizmy trying to play in around vent, which she will. Oh, that's very close. Cons is a lucky man not to hit a tag there.
It is quiet all of a sudden. Had a few faster rounds that have a bit more early action, let's say. And this one really has been slow. Nade goes out. No one behind it. Up top, it's CJot to find the first kill. And that is so much easier to see above those smokes now, isn't it, when you go up on T-Red like that. 5 versus 4. Looking very, very good for Sprout. But again, they have kind of put the brakes on.
Space being created here. Over towards that B side. But again, I'm not really too sure about what the setup's looking like. They actually might even wrap towards A. Back up through vent. This is janky. Kill towards the side. Another one to come off the back of Patrick. Now the numbers advantage is flipped in favor of the Prodigies. But they will commit towards B. It's not exactly a secure site by any means, though.
No, that is very true. Zyphon still being a nuisance up top, however, is quite a big deal. krii is actually going to drop the planter. This makes a big difference. Not a lot of time. Going for the second time, and he does indeed get 2 bomb planter kills. What a guy. What a guy. And the Prodigies are holding it together. Lots of pressure. High-intensity moments, right? And they are really looking good now. 7-3 with the potential of finding a clean first half.
Fair play to them. And honestly deserved as well. I think since the rifles are coming towards play, it has been one-way traffic. Prodigy's been playing the better CS. Granted, you'd expect it from a CT side, but I think this is where we see maybe there's just like lack of depth in towards Sprout's pool, right? You know, they've gone for maybe a little bit of a risk here of floating that nuke. A map in which they have been testing a little bit. It's not paying off. Shield, nice shot with the AWP. Does take a healthy tag. But it's still good. And cons, this is a brilliant timing on the wrap here. I don't know if they'd expect him so quick. Oh, he's gone the wrong way, though. Like ships in the night. They've gone past each other without knowing.
Huh. Might get a little freaky down here then. So they've gained a lot of space towards B that I don't think is really going to be respected at all. Gives me silently down. Tetris going for an information gather. Oh, and going to lose his head. Trades immediate. But that's just the beauty of the game, man. Deagle versus M4. $700 versus 29. Maybe a bit silly, but it is what it is. 4 on 2, though. Looking very good. Bomb plant going to come in. That will help them going into the final round. But this one goes the way of the Prodigies. That's nice.
Well. 8 rounds already. Pretty damning. I really do worry about Sprout. Granted, of course, this is the T side, but it still hasn't been a great T side. They've been getting the occasional bomb plant, but even that's been pretty inconsistent. Prodigy's looking and playing really, really well. Cons and Shield, both of those two individually, stepping up in a massive way. First timeout going to be used by Prodigies. I don't know if they needed to use the timeout here, but I guess it is a case for them about just kind of making sure they close out the half in a comfortable way. They do 9-3. I really do question whether Sprout can get back into this. Granted, I think Sprout have looked pretty good on some of the pistols, but the pistol in towards the first round of the second half, absolutely necessary. This timeout, I think, for the Prodigies, is just about them calming things down a little bit, just making sure they don't allow too much leeway over towards Sprout. Keep the foot on the gas right to the very end of the half here. 8 rounds is already good. 9 would be spectacular.
So another outside execute potentially to come through. This one a hell of a lot faster. Cons is once again at the back of the warehouse. Such a difficult position to deal with. Gives me just checking. There's no one around the vent there. Goes down, comes back up. Has to be careful. Zyphon's just round the corner, but for now it's all good, and they have once again made their way down below. Seemingly for free. Zyphon finding a frag as well is fantastic. He will be dealt with quickly, but just keeping attention on the top side.
Yeah, I mean, CJ as well is doing exactly that. By continuing to take outside presence, there's no way that expect 3 of wrap down. Nice shot, though. Shield going to find one. Molotov will force him back. It's a nasty spread on that Molotov as well. You can't peek left or right. So the bomb will go down. 3 versus 3. Make that 2 versus 3. CJ the Youngster going to find a kill towards Gizmy. Looking good for Sprout to end the half, at least on a positive note, especially considering Cons can't get down vent, and he'll go down.
Shield slowly making his way in here. Surely not going to check this right angle cleanly enough. Oh, he does. All right. I didn't know he had game like that. I got to respect his name a little bit more. We'll see. 2 more to go. Smoke onto the bomb. Wouldn't this be wild? Taps it out. Oh, CJ is there so fast, though. 8-4 still feels pretty good for the Prodigies. I am definitely excited to see what the second half holds, but we got a break first. See you in a few.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
What up? Welcome back. We're here for the second half, final half of the day as well. If you have been watching all evening long, thank you very much, of course. But we've got plenty of action still yet to go. It is Prodigies with the lead on the T side. Bit of utility bought up. What's the plan for it? Zyphon? Oh, it was there. The chance was there for him to find a head. He's actually going to get it. Second time of asking. Spins around for another one as well. Solid position for Sprout. The bloodbath, the out on the A bomb site leaves Patrick all alone, and he brings it down to the 1v1. What is going on? The burst onto A has created absolute pandemonium. Rals can't quite hit the shot. Goodness me, this is so close. Patrick just holding the off, and Rals will take him on the wide swing. Big pistol.
Patrick was so short that he was in towards heaven. Everything he was playing there was about that heaven play. And honestly, if that smoke dissipated a little bit earlier, I think it wouldn't even have been really too much of a fight. It would have been caught back turned. But fair play to Rawls seeing it off. I mean, fair play to Sprout as well. Messy pissed around. The main thing for them is just finding it. With what was a less than adequate first half for Counter-Strike, for Sprout just to kickstart the second with some confidence and, of course, some economy too. Really about what they need. Triple MP9, 1 Famas on M4 for Sprout here. No real investment for the Prodigies. They got a Deagle. That's about it. Patrick going to try and make that sing. The Glocks are just there as sort of cannon fodder.
Oh, always good when they get a kill, though. Oh, Zyphon. Struggling a bit. But should be all good. Patrick's one on the Deagle. That might get a bit interesting. Looks like he's got himself a fight against Rawls. Not going to happen. So, Sprout take it easily. Only one player going down. They'll be happy with that. Mr. Zyphon making plenty of cash. And there should be a gun available for Wonderful. Some kind of a drop. And that's always nice. Means they get another rifle in play as well, as Sprout will be thinking about the bonus here, which definitely can work on Nuke. But I think Prodigies set themselves up in a nice position if they win this. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. They put themselves into a pretty good position overall. Prodigies, this first round for them, and he's come now, right? I feel like they're going to allow Sprout to tie this game up, and then it's a completely different story. From a dominant first half to little effect overall in the second would be Warren. Gizby's got a lot of space towards our side. That's good. He crosses in towards Garage, gets this kind of for free. Zyphon will not expect him. Downhill 4, so Gizby, good little wrap, good bit of space found. And now he can kind of use all of this yard control to his advantage.
Spook with the aggressive position here in Hut. What is he going to do with it? Is he going to keep going? It looks like he will. Or this could get messy. He's got some support as well. Going to catch Patrick on the stairs. That's all they need. That's all they need, right? Like, just take the kill, get out, work with the advantage. There's only a minute left. It's not a lot of time, actually, for the Prodigies to play with.
Ooh, okay. Well, Spook will fall to the hands of Shield. Wonderful answer back on towards krii. To 3 versus 3. They've heard them go down vent now, so they're going to get a plant here towards B. I don't know how you want to play this retake, though. If you're Sprout, you can't really go too aggro. But a split doesn't really feel like it's a possibility either. 2 wrapping over towards top ramp. Siege's coming in behind from a secret play. Time's of the essence, though. They've only got 1 kit to work with. Wonderful Falls are in trouble.
Could be dangerous. Could be very dangerous indeed. 2 coming round from the ramp area. I do like, though. A little bit of an off angle on the stairs. That'll be Gizmy. He might just be able to mount some kind of a flank. No, he's actually going to play closer to the door. Goes down for his trouble. Shield with 1 through the smoke. Not able to get the defuser. Cons got him, though. And he got the triple kill as well as the team kill in there. Goodness me, what a mess from Cons. But the bullets are just going anywhere. There is no discrimination, but he will win the round. He will get it done. Yeah. And the Prodigies step forward for yet another one.
Man, fair play. That's a nice little spray down there. The Prodigies, honestly, a super important round. The main thing is, if Sprout had found that on what is essentially a bonus buy, then they're in a lot of trouble. Then we start to talk about kind of potentially this game being tied up and actually getting into quite an alarming place just because of it being that CT side of Nuke. But good for the Prodigy. Them up to the 9th, pushing towards that finish line, pushing towards taking the map in the series, but also putting a little bit of pressure on towards Sprout economically too. 9 on the 5-7 is what they've got to work with around those 3 rifles. It's a very important round, the round number 16. It's a big swing round. Winner of this destroys the economy of their opponent. You essentially get kind of a 2-for-1 special in terms of the rounds. The Prodigies, that would mean time for Sprout. I mean, getting very close to tying this game up.
Outside executes from the Prodigy. We'll see what they can find themselves with that. It is more of a fake out. Doesn't seem like they're really following it up, but I think just trying to gather some info, see if anyone gets frisky around the smokes, you know, and Gizmi's out there to maybe find an entry, but the actual team not going to work with it.
C-Drop finds Gizmi this time. That outside control that he used so well in the round prior was effective here. All goes quiet now as well. Kind of see for the Prodigies. A little bit unsure about how to play this. And utility's pretty thin too. Double molly, 1 smoke and a flash. Shield will go up towards roof too. With the molly and the flash, actually pretty good if they want to go for an A-pop. But they got bodies here. They got support. Still feels like that's where they want to go. And Shield is setting up for his util.
Zyphon gonna get Molotov out. Whoa, finds a kill though. Maybe shouldn't have had any chance of doing that. This setup is so weird as well. 2 in towards heaven. Spook on top of the door was definitely not expected, but the support is so effective. And that distraction was enough. Sprout answering back quite quickly. They break the bank. Oh, we are definitely on here.
Yeah, we are. Like we said, big swing round. And has swung the way of Sprout. So this game now gets very interesting. These two sides sounds like a little bit inseparable. I think if you are the Prodigies here, forcing, not really something you go for. Cons has picked himself up a Deagle. That actually might have a little bit of a knock-on effect. It's down to 1.3k. I think if they get a bomb plant, it'd be fine. Without a bomb plant, though, he might only have the likes of kind of a Galil, potentially. Even maybe a Mac 10. Could have a little bit of a lasting effect. We'll see. This round, again, not really expecting all too much, however. Towards our side. A little bit of space. Now you're going to come deep over towards Silo. Good damage towards Patrick. Oh, my God, shot from Cons. That kind of makes up for the investment in towards the Deke.
Pretty nasty, bro. Pretty nasty. He will go down as he goes a bit too deep, perhaps. Wonderful. Ooh, under threat, but cool under the pressure. Just 3 more remain. Any more frags for the Prodigies is kind of the big question that we have got to ask here. Shield with the wild play, but he goes easily into the next round. There it is. Gizmi will find another. Just krii remaining. You would expect he should be not long for this world either.
Probably the case. I don't think the Glock's going to do all too much. Oh, God, I guess a double dink. Actually, not exactly the worst display. Sprout within 1. Now does get very interesting indeed. Prodigies back into a buy is the positive news, but it does all come down to this. I feel like if Sprout are able to tie things up 9 apiece, they can just run away with the momentum, continuing chain these consecutive rounds together. I'm worried about the Prodigy side. The T-side's looking a little uncomfortable. Flash towards our side. The Silo play have a good start. Zyphon was so blind from Gizmi's flash, had no idea where he was, trying to fall away down secret.
Quick reposition to come around for the AWP. hoping to find that return frag. He might just be able to as well. I think Gizmy will walk into his crosshair if he keeps going. It's just a question of if he keeps going. Meanwhile, at ramp, some decent space being taken by the Prodigies as they look to work their way out. Patrick nearly gifted for his patience. Rawls gives him the peak, man. That is a risky, risky one, and now that might just make all the difference. Spook gets caught looking the wrong way. This is good. This is good. Wonderful going to have to go insane to save this round. Missed shot, gaps closing, and just too many angles, right? Too many players to be checking. CJOT can't even save, so really, really great round coming in from the Prodigies. They answer immediately. We're loving the competition, but the Prodigies, of course, just keeping Sprout at bay.
Yeah, and this is where that kind of 8-4 halfway point really does just give them that breathing room, that even if they have a little kind of a little slip up and a little hiccup in terms of economy be broken, Sprout getting a couple of rounds chained together, it still allows them to be competitive later down the line. Come back in towards a full buy. They once again reaffirm that 2-round buffer zone. Sprout have opted for a force here, though. Not a huge fan of this. This was so costly when they did it on Inferno. 1 M4, 1 FAMAS, and a couple of pistols. Not a dream buy. CJOT, the youngster, really got to pull off something magical with that M4. 5.7s are pretty good. I'll give them their credit, but still. Expect the AKs and AWP to be able to at least see this one off relatively comfortably. Rawls gets caught with a flash outside. The stairs player. Patrick for 1. Shield for 1 more. Rawls will find a trade at the very least. It's a silver lining there, but it's still not looking comfy.
Yeah, a little problematic, I think. Oh, Zyphon maybe should have got a bit more out of that. Rawls at range, trapped in, but the round's going to be over, bro. Ah, this is not great. This is not great. They really don't present too much, right? It would have been nice to go for a retake or have a decent chunk of the players saving, but they're in a spot where, I mean, they might only get like 1 player surviving. This 5-7. He's going to struggle at this range, let me tell you. Can't quite get it done. Maybe the nade will.
No.
Nope. Unlucky. So, Spook is a little under threat. They're definitely after him.
Nice nade. That's how you do it. Good tag. Rawls at the very least keeps the M4 alive. Spook trying to stay alive. I don't know if that luxury is going to be rewarded to him because he actually dies to the bomb. I think Sprout got to go for a pause here, man. They're letting this slip. That was a force buy and an unsuccessful one at that. I'm surprised Sprout aren't trying to kind of stop the tempo a little bit here. They don't have any money to work with. They've essentially... Yeah, there we go. There's the pause coming in. But realistically, Sprout have got what is feeling like a horrible decision because you've got either the force buy here to try and play to win it, or you eco, which would probably be the smarter decision, but then you're playing for OT. And that level of pressure is always rough, considering how inconsistent at times Sprout have looked. Let's see, dude. I don't know. I think the Prodigies might have done enough here. They're looking comfy. They're playing comfy. The individuals are hitting their shots. Shield looking a lot better in towards this map. Quite consistent with the AWP from the get-go. Already now, Sprout in a very, very worrisome position. They're 3 rounds behind. Prodigy's only 2 rounds away from them at the series. Kicks out on their ECL campaign quite well.
I'm liking it, man. I am liking it, and I think we're really happy with what we're seeing, to be honest. They have the potential to win, but just bringing the competition's been fantastic. So keep your eyes on this team. Keep your eyes on this team. Really sort of loose and fast, but some great individuals that I think people have maybe been sleeping on, you know?
Yeah, no, agreed. Well, it was that eco call for Sprout here. A bit of a gamble over towards A, but of course, when you're coming against a janky buy, I mean, regardless of what Sprout, even if they went for a force, they wouldn't have any sort of battle at range here. So going towards outside the way the Prodigies are, and actually the contact play towards outside, I'm a big fan of here. They know they're always going to have a stark advantage. So, a good call. 3 will cross. That A play for Sprout. Might even go for a lobby crunch in. Nothing really offering up for the time being. krii still remaining over towards roof. And he'll hear these steps. Muffled as they may be. I hear them all the same. But the Prodigies are going to be gifted a free B bomb site.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a weird one, but that is the way it goes sometimes. Raul's probably just going to hold on to his M4 once again then.
Yeah.
And the rest of the boys will probably go barreling on in. We'll see. We'll see. They still have a buy in the next round, so Raul's might just go for it. He is quite close to the action with some support. So I think they're fairly confident, but yeah. Smoke's going down. That's unlucky, boys. That's unlucky. There's not much they can really do about this one. Just going to go charging in. And, well, any kill is good. Wonderful actually finds 2 on the CZ. Alrighty. 3 versus 2 then, but bomb so far ticked, you'd say, surely not. The damage is substantial, but the round, there is no chance. Oh, my goodness. Wonderful nearly finds another. Whew, okay, well, I would say it would have a big effect. Maybe in the middle of the game it could, but unfortunately with this late kind of stage, especially if Prodigies were able to clear it out soon, they have a lot of cash available. So there's still work for Sprout. Those kills are good, but they need the rounds.
Yeah, I think the only thing that when it comes down to it, that maybe slightly hindered the opportunity there at that retake was Wonderful thought it was planted default rather than open toward the right-hand side. It's a bit of an uncommon plant. And actually, you know, he runs over towards backside and realizes it's not there, doubles back, and by that time... Oh yeah, too little too late. Potentially the final round, it's kind of feeling like... Let's see whether Sprout can save face. It is now or never.
Gives me looking for that outside entry. He has been kind of the master of outsides quite a lot of this second half. Smoke towards garage. Nothing quite coming off just yet. It looks like it will be a ramp hit from the T side. Gives me... Oh, it's actually going to go down. That's a clean one from CJot, bro. So a pretty good look for Sprout, I have to say, into this round. Solid advantage.
Versus 5. Game absolutely still on right now. CJot down here towards B. Spots the legs of 2 more and lines him up. Pistol whipped out and moving back and forth. Will find a 4th. Sprout remain alive. Still some life left in this game. Of course, it is map and series point. Sprout might have the tenacity left in them. They've got nothing to lose. Back against the wall. That's maybe where they do their best work.
A little more where that came from, and maybe we'll get the game extended. I like the decision here from Prodigies as well. Very smart, not too aggressive. We actually saw Sprout making a few aggressive economic decisions throughout the series, I would say, and it has kind of let them down in places. But here, the Prodigies are playing things kind of safe, even out the money. If you've got the cash, go for a buy. But unfortunately for krii, he's the first one to go down. Joined pretty swiftly by his teammates, in fact. So even when you make smart decisions, it doesn't always find success.
Poor Shields tucked in towards that back left. Nothing really can work with it. I'll go for a bit of a lobby crunch, so maybe be able to catch one off guard. See, just playing around that smoke, but Vixen's through it. I mean, they're only really constellation kills. They don't make a massive difference in kind of the grand scheme of things here. Shield might potentially go overlooked for like 1 kill, but any more? Unlikely. It doesn't even get the one. Nice reaction from CJot. Gives me for him. Just keeping that AK alive here. Having the AK in towards the next round. A little bit better than nothing. Of course, he will be hunted on the way out. They're going to try and fight him. Make sure he can not save a thing. They do have money to work with, so not going to be the worst thing he does fall, but I guess for Gizmi, the big thing, of course, is just having that AK. A premium rifle in towards the next round. Of course, if he does fall, someone like Spook could upgrade. Flash comes over the roof. Does deny him from finding it. Lines up 2. It's actually a team kill. Spook will upgrade. Sprout will find their 10th. But like we said, there's going to be a buy-in here for Prodigies, so not the end of the world. This is the round. If Sprout find this one, they'll break their economy once again of Prodigies, and essentially we go towards overtime.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It is very dangerous territory right now. Feels like a series that maybe deserves the overtime, to be fair. After a pretty swift second map, kind of a swift finish to the first map as well. But, man alive. Gizmi goes so fast, so aggressive. I think he's been given permission to do that, right? Like I said, he's been loving the outside, but I think they've wanted him to play a bit slower, stay alive, gather info. He said, F that in this round and just went straight in for it. Wonderful. Just with the Spidey sensors, man. There's a little gap, isn't there, on the top there? Maybe just spotting the top of the heads. And he nearly finds another because of it. That's crazy.
Wonderful. Keeping the dreams alive here. Oh, I saw a little Michael Jackson peek from Shield, but he doesn't commit to it. See on the X-ray. Wonderful. We'll find the kill nonetheless. Double from up here on Heaven. Might be a third miss shot, and the bomb does cross. So now that'll change things. Patrick, though, an own quantity by his shadow. 2 versus 4. I think Sprout going to find 11th here.
Looking good, isn't it? Looking very good indeed. Especially after the entry. And then they've not dropped a player since. It's a fantastic response. Sprout showing some of their tenured experience within this team, the ability to dig deep. Incredibly impressive. A bomb plan would be great here for the Prodigies if they can get it. CJot might have a nasty surprise in a moment. Door opens and he strikes true for the double. Well played, well held. 12-11. We are indeed going the distance. All 24 rounds required. Not a lot of money for that T side as well, so we might just need a few more than 24.
I think you're spot on. I think you're spot on. I think this is going to go towards overtime. What a recovery, though, from Sprout. From a side that looks kind of dead in the water. Even when it got to kind of a 12-9, I really thought the Prodigies would see it off. And this one slip, they've allowed for Sprout to find some form. And of course, for the individual to come alive. I mentioned getting named again, but CJot, the youngster, 16 years of age, the academy player who probably actually has quite limited experience with this team. If I'm still under the assumption that Torsen is still a regular part of it. Unless I've missed an announcement. So, yeah, man. Not bad at all. He don't think the smoke they're going to fly here. Over towards Ram. And CJot just now singing his praises. The Mac-10 run and guns him down.
All right. All right, Rawls. Lovely damage. Forced away and finished off. Good man advantage for Prodigies. Oh, probably go down as well. Pressure on. What is this Mac doing, man? Cons comes in from behind and krii to finish it off. What a way to end it. What a way to end it. And textbook Prodigies, man. We saw them win quite a few of those half-buy situations. What a game, though. What a game. The Prodigies to take it. I mean,
fair play.
Didn't expect that going into it. Didn't expect it after the second map. It's